So, John, while the politicians continue to go back and forth on this, what is this actually going to mean for Americans when they wake up on January the 1st? I mean, is this actually going to be a fiscal cliff in the sense that people have been talking about?
Well, the fiscal cliff is a great word. It's a great term, isn't it? It was first used in this country back in the 1950s. It's been kicking around, but it really does seem to apply now because economists fear that if this happens on January the 1st, then the US could go into recession and the world could go into recession because the US takes the lead on this sort of thing. So what is going to happen? Well, if the deal can't be done, then there will be cuts to various what's known here as Medicaid and Medicare programs. That's various health programs that are available to people here in the United States when they retire. There could be cuts in payments to people who deserve short-term unemployment benefit. They will simply be kicked off the rolls. There'll be cuts to transportation, cuts to the defense budget, the farming budget. Milk, for example, we're told, could go up from its present $3.50 a gallon to around $8 a gallon because the farming bill is going to revert to something that it was signed in 1946. And so the various things that have been in place holding down the price of milk are going to suddenly disappear. So you can see just that one thing alone about milk more than doubling in price. That's a problem for ordinary, low-paid, hard-working Americans right there. So that's the kind of thing that could happen. Whether it's going to happen, we really don't know. What will happen today is that the Senate is working on this bill. If the two leaders can get it past their caucuses, they'll presumably try to bring it to a vote today or tomorrow, Monday. And then I think the House, which is pretty dysfunctional at this point, has said that if the Senate votes in favor, then they'll vote in favor as well. So we should have a deal. But it will be a very, very limited deal. But it will be enough to stop this so-called fiscal cliff happening. And then the politicians will have time after that to work on the more serious issues. They have a good 6 months or so before the real problems start to kick in. Then, of course, the question becomes, will they or won't they? Will they kick the can down the road again, or will they actually get down to sorting out the problems? And I will just say finally, Hesham, just briefly, this is not all bad here, because if the US does go over this so-called fiscal cliff and these tax hikes across the board kick in, and these spending cuts in all sorts of areas kick in, then some economists say, look, well, that goes a very, very, very long way to sorting out the US deficit and budget crisis. So you pays your money, you takes your chances always in these things. But I think Washington doesn't want to be, or at least the president doesn't want to be seen to be the guy in the top office when Washington simply couldn't stop a budget crisis of this magnitude from happening.
All right, John. Well, we know you'll be following all of this for us over the coming hours. But for the moment, John Terrett, live for us in Washington, D.C. Thanks very much.